Oh, what's up? Welcome to the Unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number, 204? I am Adam Choit. Follow the show at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. Please subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. I'll definitely get out a audio version of this episode later tonight. Tomorrow, get that out soon for you guys. Please subscribe on YouTube, of course. Like, share, do all that stuff. Comment. What's up, guys, in the chat? I see you guys up there already there. Suzanne and Tony and YouTube user. I don't know why that didn't show up, but I hope everyone's doing okay. Patreon.com/TTB podcast to support. Patreon.com/TTB podcast to support. Thank you, Kathleen, Stacy, Troy, Daniel, Mariah, Bo, and Marion for supporting. Appreciate that. Second two tiers on Patreon will get a portion will get donated to the Mr. Holland's Opus Music Foundation, supporting music education. Definitely check that out again. Patreon.com/TTB podcast. Weedside and Woodside for all your THC needs. Great dispensary in the New York City area. Randy, of course, that's his spot. Supporter of the show. Great TTB fan. Let's get into it. What are we talking about today? We are talking about Nevada. We are talking about Phoenix, Arizona, and we are talking about Albuquerque, New Mexico last night. So let's bring in a couple of newcomers here. We got Leslie and we got Kenza to talk about a couple of those shows, and we'll breeze through the Nevada show as well. What is happening, y'all?
Hey.
Good to connect. First timers. This is fun. This is fun. It's always fun for me to connect with new fans, and I appreciate you guys joining me. Why don't we start with Leslie? How are you and where are you and how did you get into TTB? How many shows have you been to? I'll get a little bit of your background, I guess.
Wow, that's a lot. I'm
sorry.
We currently live in Taos, New Mexico, which is about 3 hours north of Albuquerque. How did I get into Tedeschi Trucks? Wow. It kind of all goes back to me. I'm a Deadhead, so it all comes back to the Deadhead and early Allman Brothers fan. So it comes back to that. I first saw Susan perform with the other ones in 2002 at Alpine Valley, and I've seen the Derek Trucks band. I've seen Derek Trucks performing with the Allman Brothers. So I became a fan. I think they were formed 2010. Am I correct?
Yep.
So I was living overseas in 2010 and didn't move back until 2019. So I didn't have a tremendous amount of opportunities to see them until after I came back. But we've gone to Red Rocks every year since 2019. Seen them at Dillon Amphitheater, Grand Junction. And I think I'm forgetting some other shows as well. And then obviously Albuquerque last night.
Wow, so you go way back with Susan and Derek, despite being overseas for a minute there. That's cool. Yeah, it's always fun for me to connect with fans. I mean, who are new fans, old fans, long-term fans. But yeah, you have a rich history with just being a fan of Susan and Derek and their music. That must make it more meaningful on some level to you. Just the fact that you've been following these guys for so long.
Well, I've gotten to see them. I mean, I think Susan's like 2 years younger than me. Derek's obviously more than that younger than me, but it was incredible to see her play with the other ones at Alpine Valley. Warren was in that show too, but that was the surviving members of the Grateful Dead, and Robert Hunter was there. And I love seeing a strong woman on stage, and it struck me, and it has struck me ever since. And so I just get curious about what this woman is doing, who's so talented and confident. Derek, was a phenom. I mean, obviously a phenom. And I'm old enough to have seen Dickie Betts play with Allman Brothers. I'm not old enough to have seen Dwayne Allman play with the Allman Brothers, but and also Oteil Burbridge was playing with them early. So there's a full circle, and they all introduced me to different forms of music. It's sort of a spider web, and the Grateful Dead was kind of like that too. Like, let's expand and let's kind of see what's out there, and let's get curious about who they're covering, what they're playing, who influenced them. And I just think that's interesting.
That's what TTB does for me. You're not just getting their music and getting to become a fan of their music. They're providing a web, like you say. You get a music education. Their popular covers or from some of their deep cut covers, whatever the case may be. Are you a musician? Do you sing, dance, play instruments, anything like that?
I don't do any of it professionally, and my family would tell me I'm not allowed to sing in public. I sing all the time along with songs, so I'm not a capable musician in any stretch of the world. I have my family worked on the business side of the music business, and I worked on the business side of the music business, so I've had a lot of exposure to all kinds of musicians from all different kinds of genres. So I've had somewhat of an education in that realm, but I am not a musician. I am absolutely not. I'm an absolute, lover of music, and I'm curious. I'm really curious.
You're a better singer than your family gives you credit for, would you say?
No, I'm pretty sure they would. They're probably watching this right now and laughing hysterically. She should not be allowed to sing anywhere, but I can't help myself in the car or at a show or whatever. No, I absolutely cannot sing.
I get it. What about you, Kenza? What's your history with Derek, Susan? How did you find these guys?
Yeah, I'm happy to share. So not as much as Rich, I guess, with like Leslie explained hers. Mine is a little different because I moved to the US in 2001. I'm originally from Morocco.
Nice.
But like Leslie was saying, there's a full circle. Sometimes you realize how things kind of connect, and I'll get back to it later. But I grew up in Morocco, and when I moved to the US, I was listening to Wilco a lot. I was a huge Wilco fan and Jeff Tweedy and all that. So, and my ex-husband got me into that. So he's super into music, and I think I got introduced to that, and just slowly like going to all these shows all over the country. Like we just fly in and go see Wilco, go see this. We lived in California for a little while too. So I've seen them everywhere, pretty much from Madison Square Garden all the way to somewhere in LA. But then I've always also been a huge fan of the Black Crowes. And since my sister brought their first Shake Your Money Maker in 90 something, 91 or something, and I was in Morocco, and we've just been a fan since then. And when I say full circle, because I fast forward all this time, I was sitting listening to the Locan Festival, and I would listen to all the live shows, the Black Crowes. They also got me to discover more blues, and I was in that era where I'm just delving into the blues, Buddy Guy, and all that. And I was listening, and Tedeschi Trucks were with them. I think it was one of the shows that they did together back in 2014 or 15, I believe, with the Black Crowes, the co-headline. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, who is this? What is that? And I started just getting into them to the point where I just delved into the Tedeschi track and kind of left the other. I don't listen to Wilco as much. I'm a little bit more obsessed with the Tedeschi tracks. In a way, just more into them. I respect everything. I will listen to them and go to shows, but there's something that I'm constantly drawn to the music of the Tedeschi track. And I say it comes full circle because I'm discovering and going backwards and listening to all this music. And like you said, being curious and say, wait a minute, what's this song? And what's that? And I would Google, oh, this is, Elmore Jane's song. And I'll go listen to it. And going back to Derek Trucks, I've never seen Derek Trucks band alone or anything. I wish I had, because I think if I got into them earlier, I would have gone. And I discovered their Songlines album and fell in love with it. And I listened to one of his songs, the Maki Badni. It has kind of like, and it just took me back home. I think it's that song where I was like, oh, this has definitely inspired by some music, by the Gnawa music of Morocco.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like spiritual. It's kind of like best way to explain it is a very like African based, kind of like the slaves that were there, they would sing, and it's very spiritual. There's like a trance to it. There's like this beat to it. So anyway, it kind of like made sense. Oh, it's all connected. And I've seen Tedeschi Trucks, I want to say about 5 to 6 times. So it's not as much as I can, just they don't come to this area a lot, unfortunately. I've seen them in Red Rocks 2 years ago in 2023, and it was amazing. It was one of the best shows. They've always put on a great show here. The difference with Phoenix is that the experience with the audience has not always been the best. It depends on the venues. Because I've seen them in a theater, in Orpheum Theater, and it was pretty nice. I think I like that better than maybe an amphitheater.
It sounds like,
And
I was gonna say, it
no,
sounds
go
like
ahead.
TTB kind of shot to your, like, is like your number one band, maybe like your favorite band at the moment. There's no, I guess there is a wrong answer.
Yeah.
But
No, I'm always happy to listen to the other band, but there's like I was talking earlier about Doyle Hall and all that, and that's kind of like going back. Now I would listen to discovering. It made me discover or rediscover like the Allman Brothers. I wasn't listening to them growing up, but I went back, and I remember when I was dating my ex-husband, he would send me tapes at that time in the 90s, and Midnight Rhythm was one of them. So there was all of that came back. You know, there's maybe some Stevie Ray. So everything came back to me, and I kind of appreciate it. And but yeah, I just gravitate towards their music. I'm sure you feel the same way. Like it's a craving. Does that make sense? It's a craving. Like I'm in the car and I gravitate towards that. It's not that I wouldn't listen, but if I get into a zone and listen to let's say another band, I appreciate it in the same way. It's something that just keeps right.
Yeah, TTB's music is it's consistently moving more than any other music that I listen to. I don't know what it is. It's just this band has your soul on a string. When you're listening to them, you're being guided. They're in control, not you. You're just following their journey. I think that Derek and TTB have done some collabs with Wilco over the years and Jeff Tweedy.
Yes.
If you go on YouTube and someone even recently, I remember there's been some sit-ins or some things like that. So there's been some overlap between Wilco and TTB in some regard.
Yeah, it's specifically the guitarist who's a jazz kind of influenced guitarist.
Nels
Klein. He does Impossible Germany. If you just look at that, you'll find some amazing sitting that Derek Truck does with them, or vice versa in the Beacon Theater. Impossible Germany has this like incredible solo that just like melts you. I don't know, it's just this solo, and then adding to this Derek Trucks to it. When they kind of work, when he comes in stage, that's what he plays with them.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've heard. They've doing like I think Maki Madney's been like teased in various Tedeschi Truck songs. I forget if they use it in Idle Win. Like they do tease these Derek Trucks things here and there, like these. And that's all his, and a lot, mostly his influences. These Middle Eastern, Indian sounds, world sounds, things like that. That's big. I would love to hear even more of that in TTB's music. But there's only so much they can do. There's only so many songs they can play live. Like 2010, like we were saying, is when they started. So 15 years later, there's just too much to choose from. They can't play. We all want to hear so many of these deep cuts from I Am the Moon. I'm having conversations with friends. Why don't they play more from Signs? Why don't they play more from Let Me Get By? How come they never play In Every Heart? How come they never play all these things? A lot of the deep cuts, like I'm saying, from I Am the Moon, that haven't got a lot of live performances or at all. There's just so much to choose from for the band. Neither of you were at the show the Nevada show, but we can take a look at
is that the Lake Tahoe one?
Yeah, Lake Tahoe.
I thought about going there, and I actually thought about it.
I'm always thinking about going somewhere.
But I looked it up, and it was going to be that one of those things where you need to rent a car to get to the lake. It was like pretty complicated.
Yeah, it's like going to Staten Island in New York. You need to take a drive to get to a train, to get to a bus, to get to a boat, to get to another bus, to get to a walk 10 blocks from the. There's a lot of different ways to get there.
There's nothing. Yeah, you couldn't like just hop in an Uber for the show and come back. You had to kind of rent a car. I think you're flying to Reno or something.
Yeah, I don't know if this set list is accurate, like it says on ttbase.net. But if anyone has an accurate set list or has comment, has any feedback on that, we can I can adjust. Suzanne says there's a great interview on YouTube with Nels about playing with Derek and TTB. I think that came up when I just Googled. I just saw that. You're going to show, Suzanne, coming up too. What you said, you got Noblesville, the next one. I think you said that's Saturday, the 23rd of Saturday. So we got representatives at all these shows. But assuming this is correct, anyhow, Crazy Crying, Who Am I? That's the one that you were referring to, Leslie.
Yeah.
I think before we started recording, I Feel So Bad, Learn How to Love, Keep on Growing, Coming Home, Let Me Get By, Walk on Gilded Splinters, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, Made Up Mind, I Want More, Into Soul, Sacrifice. I think I just saw Steve, who's going to join us. I think I just saw you. I saw him. He's trying to get in there. Let me see if he's still here. But any reaction to this set list, assuming it's accurate? Just solid. We haven't got a lot of Coming Home. We haven't got Learn How to Love, I think, since they got back on tour, Tulsa and then Red Rocks. So it seems like every show, which is part of probably what keeps us returning, is that there's always like some kind of surprise, whether it's the set list, whether it's a couple of songs in the set list, whether it's a guest, whether it's a different solo for someone on a new song. There's always seems to be a little wrinkle somewhere, a couple of wrinkles. That's what brings me back to checking out this band. I don't know if you guys have any reaction to this set list.
It's part of the spider web for me because I'm a longtime Bob Dylan fan. So Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. So they're playing homage to somebody. Obviously, it's important to them, as I find it to be important to me. Dr. John, I Walk on Gilded Splinters. Like they're paying homage to people that I appreciate and that have, produced incredible music in addition to their music. And that's what I have enjoyed, that they're not afraid to do covers. And again, I'm a Deadhead. The Grateful Dead were never afraid to do covers. And that's how we learned about other music and sort of spread that knowledge across the board. So I love that. So looking at this set list, I think it would have been a blast.
I think it's literally about 50-50 is kind of like what TTB has been doing with covers and originals, pretty much just about right down the middle for whatever, like that. I guess that seems to be the split. Now I guess there's a lot of reasons to do covers. And I think even Derek and Susan have talked about this in some recent interviews. People have been saying that they feel obligated to not just educate us about great music, but keep the music alive, especially this band who can make anything even better. Take the original and make it their own, certainly, and make it amazing, but I take it to a next level in a lot of regards. I think is fair to say. I mean, just Coming Home that's like Bonnie and Delaney. What they do with that is just Derek and Susan just make everything that much better and that much more powerful. And Don't Think Twice has kind of been a little bit less seen on set lists in the last again since they got back on tour with Tulsa, Red Rocks, and the summer tour here. So it's good to see that.
They're not supported by a 12-piece band.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Bob Dylan wasn't playing with a 12-piece band, and Dr. John he on keys and singing, and so it makes it richer and deeper, and it's sort of exploring every little nook of the song.
The horns that TTB adds to songs that didn't have horns originally are always done so like tastefully and seamlessly, because you'll see sometimes bands, they'll go on tour with horns, they'll add horns, they'll add harmony singers to their live shows. Just thinking about like, I still love Guns N' Roses and classic rock and music like that, but GNR in the early 90s they had a whole horn section, and that seemed more like excess compared to like what TTB does with horns when they add it to like an Allman Brothers song that did not have horns. They do it so seamlessly, so tastefully, in a way that accents the songs and brings them to the next level. I think we got Steve here ready to go. Let's bring in Steve. He was at the Arizona show, but let's bring him in and start the conversation. How's it going?
I'm good, thank you. I appreciate that, man. Like technical difficulties here. My goodness. Yeah.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
That.
We see you and we hear you. We got the things we need.
That'll work. Yay. Thanks. You got mix shows and stuff. I'm like, wow, impressive.
Why don't you tell me how you got connected to TTB, Susan and Derek, and your sort of background and with this soul fandom?
Cool. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll definitely throw myself in and say a latecomer. I'm actually not sure how I came across them, but sometime in 19, they played the music hall, a nice venue here in Tucson, renamed the Linda Ronstadt Music Hall, as well it should be. And they were really good. I mean, I liked them. They did a couple, a couple of Derek and the Domino covers, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Definitely, like I said, kind of interest, but nothing that really necessarily, you know, wow. I mean, just aside from the whole presentation, of course, was great. It was after Kofi had passed, so it was still, the current venue with Gabe and whatnot. But certainly enough to say these guys are really good and really unique, and got to keep an ear out for them. And of course, I don't know if you had touched on this. If you had, I apologize. When I Am the Moon dropped, I mean, I was just all over that, from each disc, each release. And I overheard you mention, Ken, I think you mentioned Red Rocks. Red Rocks 22 was the first time I saw them. Quick sidebar on that. I think one of the guys from Los Lobos said that that first show at Red Rocks, they basically came out and did the first I Am the Moon. They did the first part of I Am the Moon. And they were like,
Yeah.
that's pretty ballsy. That thing had been out like for a month. And like, even there, I would say a lot of people that were, I'm going to say veterans at Red Rocks, weren't as familiar with that new stuff.
Oh,
And and literally from first, old school needle drop, these days just push play, I guess, but just fell in love with it from the first listen. And yeah, I was thinking
same.
about this today. So yeah, this is that show in Phoenix, the end of the 25 tour for moi. Sorry, 14 times I've seen him since 19.
Don't
Ooh,
So
so cool.
yeah, and that includes Red Rocks. Red Rocks is definitely that's like an automatic.
That's what I always say to people, because it's hard to know sometimes how long, or how to tell how long somebody's been a fan of TTB, just a few interacting a little bit and having a few interactions about them, because there's so much passion. Like, oh my god, Steve's probably been a fan for 20 years or whatever, but like, just like once you're in. There's a handful of fans I've talked to who've discovered the band 2017, 2018, kind of whatever's late to the party, so to speak. But I'm like, you're just as passionate about them as anyone who goes back or anyone I talk to. Even like, I feel the passion when I talk to the crew, when I talk to fans, new fans, old fans. There's something special about this band that takes you from 0 to 10 as a fan pretty quickly.
Right. In fact, there's somebody I know, local, musician, performer / whatever, and I mentioned him, because I always, try to spread the word, right? Because always looking for that. Oh, do you know these guys? And some do. And this guy was like, oh yeah, I saw them. They played uh, Flagstaff, which is about a 4-hour drive from Tucson. He's like, yeah, I saw them there in 2012. I'm like, oh my God, that had to be the first tour and stuff. I'm like, oh man.
I wish I was
Yeah,
a
but
fan then, because I would have
I
gone.
know, huh? I know, huh? But yeah, and again, maybe I should touch on this, but if you don't mind, I don't know, jump right on in there with this. One of the things that impressed me about these last few shows, and again, I'm sure the 90-minute set list obviously will deal with that too, I guess. Or I was going with it because I'm a set list wonk and always looking to see what's out there. And I guess last night in New Mexico, you guys got a Dreams, because I don't know that they played that uh, earlier on, or at least not in. Yeah, I don't think they didn't play it at Red Rocks. And I
They
don't think
teased. They almost teased. They teased it, and I think they played Idle Wind. They did a It Ain't Fair. I forget if it was Red Rocks or some other show, but then they went into, I think, an Idle Wind after teasing us. Maybe we're gonna get a Dreams, but I think you're right. I don't think we've gotten a Dreams since this summer tour, I guess.
That's cool.
That was neat. But yeah, I really just for Phoenix, I mean, really appreciated. Oh, actually, I'll throw it out there. Just again, going back last year, and again, the logistics and calendar of that. I know that last year with the Deuces Wild tour, one of the things that was great is they were breaking in some new tunes, and I know that they had already done Red Rocks and Arizona before they got to Minneapolis. and they had dropped those two Prince tunes later in the tour last year. Later, I guess. August.
But you know, Mike grew up in Minneapolis.
Right.
Mike Mattison grew up in Minneapolis.
Oh,
I knew
He grew up in
there was something
Minneapolis.
there. But the DMSRs, I mean, loved both of those. Saw two of those. The 1999 I had heard, and I was kind of like, well, okay, yeah, all right. But I really liked the feel of DMSR. But I would have to say, for moi, the highlight and the first time seeing it, 1999, and just
yes, I actually.
mean, it was this feel, but it's so good.
There was something that happened to me when I heard it, and I just yelled, like not too loud, but I was like, oh my God, I was enchanted by that song. I thought his voice just goes into this Prince towards the end.
The falsetto, the high pitched falsetto sound.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
and
it's
plus
almost like you don't recognize him. It's him singing. It's almost a new person.
What I was going to say, the other part of that, because again, if I'm bringing in the Phoenix part of it, for the closers, for the Sly stuff, he did the Sly, and he just as high on the Sly stuff, and it was like, the first I'm like, what? Who's that? It's like, oh my gosh, because I'm like, oh, looking at Alecia, it's like, no, it's not Alecia, it was Mike, and he was just
When Mike sings a new song on a studio album, it takes me a second to sometimes know who is this singing on right on time. Who is this singing? Is this Mike on Emmeline I'm hearing right now? You got to just make sure, because he's got such a crazy low to high range, and I think he purposely makes sure to show that off in his limited time singing that he has, singing on either albums or at live shows. He makes the most of it, showing off his abilities. Not showing off is not really the right terms, but really sharing his talents with us, and we're lucky to have that. And that was, one of my complaints, so to speak, if I'm going to have a complaint about a TTB show, is that we just want more. We want more of everything. Yes. Like there was, in LA, we didn't get, I don't think we got any Gabe real lead vocals on anything. And, when you get two sets evening with TTB, you're getting 3-4 Mike lead vocals, Mike down front songs. You're getting 1 or 2 Gabe vocals. I see a lot of fans wanting to see Gravity come back into the set. So it's like, again, I guess there's only so much they could do, but evening with.
For sure, especially with the 90-minute set. I go off real quick, I'm jumping on that. In fact, the person I went with last year to the Phoenix, the same venue. A shout out to that venue. I don't know if you know it. It's gone through some name changes. Everybody knew it from what it was originally. And of course, I think it was supposed to be called Comerica, but it's the Arizona Financial Center. It's it's been there forever. It's just renamed, I guess, of course, every couple of years. But it's very open. I like it. Even the floor seating is very raked. The balconies are comfortable. There's a real, it's open, yet it feels intimate, for what that's worth. I really do like that venue.
The acoustic was incredible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do I got the right venue here?
Yeah, it looks like
yes, that's it. Yeah, so it kind of looks a little, it's not necessarily got, personality per se.
No,
it's kind of antiseptic looking. But yeah, it's a nice place. I like it because, like I said, it feels open, yet it only sits 5,000. So it kind of has to be. And even though you can kind of see, it'll look like even for that, whatever that middle mezzanine level is, it's like just slightly higher than the floor. There's some proper theater term for that I should know, but oh well. Yeah, but then those two balconies are really, really pretty nice. So for what that's worth. Anyway, I had been there last year. Took a guy who was a keyboard player, and that was his biggest thing. Is like, they didn't do much with the keyboards, and they really didn't. The other thing that I thought was neat that I wanted to just touch on real quick before it escapes me. Sorry, is that Mark also got a chance. Mark and Alecia both got a chance to shine on Bound for Glory. That was really open for, and that was so neat to hear that, because even as you said this, Adam, I think I like we said that they're sharing. I know what it was. I wanted to mention specifically. They do a great job of giving everybody a chance to shine. But after 14 shows, first time in Phoenix, if I may, and maybe I'm wrong, first time we got a little bass riff. They actually gave them a couple of, just kind of gave them, soon it was on, but yeah, they just gave him a little, you know, and it was great. It was great.
Mhm.
Brandon solos are excellent. Yeah, lucky to catch a Brandon solo. It actually brings me to a sort of a maybe a good point is that I get why bands have opening acts and why they go on tour with acts and have guests and all these things. But Tedeschi Trucks really is this huge band. So I feel like when you do have this 12-piece band filled with such amazing individual talents, there's sort of almost like a less of a need from like, I guess just at least obviously I'm speaking from a fan's perspective of having, really any opening act. Cause when you get TTB with, evening with and 2 sets with intermission, you're not just getting all 12 playing TTB original songs and that's all you're getting. You're getting obviously all their covers, but you're getting all the different combinations and you're getting 5 different lead vocals at different points and sharing all those talents. So in terms of just like the diversity of the music and also preserving Susan, being able to preserve Susan and give her rest and give everyone in the band rest, I think like the evening with it really is sustaining. There's no such thing as going to an evening with a show and be like, I wish they would have had an opener. I guess no one's really ever thinking about an opener in some regards, but yeah, no, we always want as much TTB music as possible. I guess that's the bottom line. We're greedy. I'm greedy in that way.
I think they're a pretty spectacular dozen musicians, and it sort of reminds me a little bit of Colonel Bruce Hampton. Like clearly they're, they have a strong leader, but they also are listening so much to each other and allowing each other to kind of explore some things and then, moving through the songs. And that to me is encouraging to watch because, let's be honest, this could have been a band built around Derek and Susan where everybody else is kind of fluffing this up, right? Instead, they're richer and more because of these 12 people all together and what they do with each other and how they listen to each other and how they support each other, whether it's, like a supported nod, but clearly letting people stretch their legs. And yes, there is absolutely a plan. I completely see that and I completely understand that. But I always feel a little bit of Colonel Bruce in part of it because I feel like they all listen to each other. And they're listening to where somebody is going, and then they're pivoting to kind of support whatever is happening. And that's some of the magic that I incredibly love, I chase and what I love seeing, and they deliver every single show.
So well said, so well articulated. We all agree with that. We all feel that. That's what keeps us like going back, and we're like we live it live with the band as they're saying, especially if you're up close and you have great seats and you could really see that. But even the screens, I've talked about how they're not really for the back to see, they're more for style and for the production value and all that. But they are utilitarian and helpful for if you're sitting a little further back to see some of the close-ups and see some of the expressions that the band members are giving each other. Yeah, it's such a special thing. There's nothing that compares to this music, how the band interacts with each other, how their stage show from that perspective, from just like the fun of the liveness of seeing a TTB show and just watching Derek be, he's like a Beethoven, Mozart, or whatever, one of these guys, but for Allman Brothers Z and music and this soul music and all the genres that meld that make this band. I should pull up the set list. I'll keep Randy in here.
I grabbed the paper set list.
Oh, you got one.
Copy,
yeah. Yeah, I got
Is it accurate?
Well, what you posted, it was completely different, so I think it was accurate. No, this is flipped, right? So I'll read it. It was.
Oh, you're good. No, it's good. It's good for us. It's good for us. This is you were in Phoenix.
Yeah,
Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
So the order.
Oh, yeah, I made up mine. You're right.
Correct. It was wrong, but this is the correct order.
Okay. Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, I missed mine. Thank you.
Steve, you noticed how they went from Don't Let Me Slide to Crazy Crying, like one song? I was kind of amazed by that. There was not a single second pose. I think maybe they did it intentionally. Maybe there's something that just that it worked together, but it fed into it, and it was seamless.
Absolutely. And it seems like, for what that's worth, and again, maybe Adam knows this too, because I was certainly watching the Nugs stuff, that
What happened? Did we lose him?
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Did we lose you, Steve?
Hear you.
Nope. He's talking.
We lost you? I think we lost your volume.
Maybe his AirPod.
Not sure. Maybe pop back out and pop back in. Testing. I'm gonna kick you out and then come back in. Kick it. All right. Anyway, he'll come back in. You guys hear me? Testing. 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're good. You're not frozen. Just checking. No, let me. I wanted to ask about Soul Sweet Song. Did they do the? I assume they did the video tribute in the backdrop. Is everyone crying? Is everyone just losing?
Well,
losing control there?
it was beautiful, and I think I was talking to someone I work with. I wasn't sitting with them, but he's a huge Allman Brother fan, and he said it was very moving for him to see Greg. And it's the live images of them playing. Obviously, Kofi and who else was in there?
Butch Trucks and Kofi.
Butch Truck. Oh, that was really nice.
Was BB King in there also?
Yeah, BB King was there. Butch Truck was right there, and when you saw it in the image, it's almost his above in the screen. I don't know if you saw this over Derek. You know, when you see it together, it's like the picture is here and Derek is here. It's like almost over him.
Yeah, it's special.
Did they add? Can you hear me? By the way, can you hear me now or no?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Not better.
I feel like they added it like Leon. They I feel like they
Yeah,
added
Leon was
video, some video, which it was very very touching.
That's very cool that they're doing that, but there's like even like a little bit of a very dark reality to that, and I commented on this already. I think in a previous episode that like. They're going to be adding people to that, whether, you know, even one, because people, because it's the how life works. Yeah.
But they're paying the proper credit, which they've always done. And that's one of the things that makes me for sure, you know, be drawn to them and love them. And I think they did this at Red Rocks on August 1st as well. I think I remember this on the screen. I think on streams, on streams, they should have a split screen or a small corner that just has maybe the backdrop on the whole time, just because you're hearing the fans react to the screen. Even the band, Susan sometimes is turned around. I've seen people talking about, because when you hear the roar of the crowd maybe they're playing music, they're forgetting, what part who are they showing? You want to see who the fans are reacting to. That's such a cool element. Who is doing that? That's like it's like they have those during like the Grammys and award shows. They have like the sort of the who died that past year.
Right.
What do you call that?
Did it at the end of every Sphere run.
In memoriam.
And
the memoriam. This is such a better version and such like a. Yeah. It's actually fun. It's fun and it's moving. I mean, the music is great. Right. That's like the fun element, but it's so very emotional. Yeah.
It was. I did see people get up during that song, and it made me upset. There were just people getting up during the song. I tell you, it was very disrespectful. Obviously, not TTB fans.
People were tearing up at Red Rocks. Well, I mean, everybody was, kind of touching their hands as they were showing.
Right.
That song's a weapon. It's an emotional weapon, that song. Like TT, when they put that in the thing, and now that they know that they had the video tribute, it's like, do you want to wreck them here at the fourth song of the night, or do you want to put that? Do you want to let them cry in the later in the set? No, we got Midnight in Harlem later. You got like there's such a whatever it is. There's always a method to the madness, and I think that us fans, we kind of see the peaks and valleys and sort of the.
Me again. Did I come back?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. There's peaks and valleys to the set, and I think we all follow that. Go on, jump in, Steve.
Sure. I was just going to ask. I was surprised, and maybe jump in there too on this, that Midnight in Harlem so early on, because like the fourth song, I was like, So it's usually, like you said, it's usually
I was surprised.
That was a surprise. That's the surprise. That's a surprise, and that's a signal that this is going to be.
Surprises are good.
a great show. If you're getting Midnight in Harlem third,
That's why we go,
fourth,
right?
fifth, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's opened a few shows recently, or not recently,
really?
but like I think last year they started 1 or 2 shows with Midnight or dropped it in second or something. That's another thing about the band is like you never know where in a set list you're going to get a song.
Right.
Space Captain is no longer just encore material, partly because they're pushing the learning to live together and the and all of that, the music that goes along with that for their album. But yeah, you never know where you're gonna see a song, and I'm sure they're gonna bring new stuff back, and they're always making making adjustments. I think Derek gets bored. Honestly, I feel like that's what it is. He gets bored easily, and we as fans benefit from it.
Right.
He pushes this band.
Just because you mentioned the new songs, and I was surprised on the set list from New Mexico, and again on setlist.com, and but they didn't have any new tunes on there. And I actually emailed somebody who won't name names or anything. I don't want to, throw anybody under the, but it's like they've been pretty consistently hitting three of the new songs. And they didn't have any last night. And I'm just thinking the list isn't complete because it's like,
that's what it says. I think this is probably from, we'll get it. I'm sure it'll pop up in the coming days.
First.
Okay. It just seems like.
But so it's incomplete, and I wasn't taking notes. But I reached out to one of my friends, Wendy, and she had brought her 10-year-old daughter to her first official concert, and thankfully her daughter was filming some of the shows, so we were putting it together. But I did not keep track. But that list is not in the right order. And there was the Stevie Wonder cover, Yester Me, Yester You, Yesterday.
They what?
Really?
Yes.
They did what?
Yes.
They did what? Is that on YouTube somewhere?
That's fun. I wasn't filming anything.
Have they ever done that song?
Which I see they did.
I think
awesome.
Like there were, and I had to ask earlier before you joined. So Who Am I? They did do.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and and they did
the Dreams.
Do I Look Worried? And like that. And this was, to me, a really exciting and unique show.
Nice.
I see a lot of music. This is the first time I've been to the Isleta Amphitheater in Albuquerque, and my husband and my 26-year-old son, and my son had a friend there. We had been at the gorge, and all three of us, when we walked in, it felt like a miniature, like a half-size gorge in a really good way. Like this was a beautiful amphitheater. It was, the facilities were great. It was, well set up. And so we were, and the view, obviously it's not the view looking at the Columbia River, but like the view looking beyond the amphitheater, it's gorgeous. So my husband and I had the early entry. And when we were talking to the staff, who, by the way, some of the nicest staff I've encountered ever at shows. In fact, at one point they said, if you go in and you get a poster, if you want to take it out to your car, we'll let you back in. I've never heard that before in my life.
Right.
And we didn't, but they were super nice. But the amphitheater has a 15,000 capacity.
Okay.
The staff told us when we got there, they had sold 5,000 tickets. And that they were going to, they had closed the lawn and they were going to push everybody to seats, which is great and totally makes sense. And
that's nice.
And so my husband and I have seen them. Dillon Amphitheater is probably around a similar size. The Grand Junction is a similar size, but this is a big space that was not full. And also New Mexico, I'm not sure everybody was as aware that this show was going to start at 7:30. It also seemed quite apparent to us that a lot of the fans were Whiskey Myers fans, which was great. Everybody was super. But when they opened, and they started at 7:30. TTB started at 7:30. There were maybe 2,000, 2,500 people. And the first song during the letter, and we were in the second row, everybody in the band was kind of looking at each other and kind of giggling as they're looking out the audience. And I'm thinking the same thing. I'm also thinking, lucky us, we're getting this, this special treat. Right. But they're all kind of looking around, but they're such professionals. They immediately just switched into professional mode. And I don't want to say like rise up, because they're always rising up. I don't want to say it like that. But what I witnessed, like, and I feel like Susan always is amazing and sings great. I thought her range last night was so clear and beautiful and effortless in every song that she was singing.
I agree for Phoenix too. I was thinking, those were my words in my head.
Listen to Until You Remember in Los Angeles. There's just that. It's all the songs are pitch perfect in a way, but something about that, like just the way it's effortless. I wanted to comment on this earlier. Her effortless power and control is unmatched, and in my mind, I don't even need to say in my mind. I should just say legendary status. This person is a legend. You're listening to Janis Joplin, to Bonnie Raitt, whatever female singer, white, black, whatever. Like Susan is on that list, is up there with all those people. And in terms of like the accomplishments and skill, but also more than that, even is just like how moving and the human connection that her voice has with us, the listener, the fan.
And her solos last night, and I mean, again, I mean, it's like, it's crazy for me to say like this was, because I feel like she's always incredible. I thought her solos were so engaged and so spot on, and just I thought she shined. I thought she was shining, and I'm not saying she doesn't shine, because I think she always shines. There was like an extra diamond on top last night is what I saw. And as these fans were kind of streaming in, and again, to me, appeared to be a lot of Whiskey Myers, they were being stopped in their tracks. And even at one point, there was a couple that sat down next to my husband. He was elbowing his wife and like pointing, and he was doing that during Mike sang "Feel So Bad" last night. Super bluesy and super. He had his falsetto, and like it was quiet. Like people were like they were mesmerized.
That's the word.
They were mesmerized. But the one that like complete, like you could have heard a pin drop when Alecia came down and sang "It Ain't Fair." Now, I've only lived in New Mexico for 5 years, and I don't know like what you guys understand about New Mexico. This is the 5th largest state, but it is also one of the poorest states in the United States. She is singing "It Ain't Fair" in her beautiful, delicate, emotional, strong voice. I heard gasps behind me because they didn't know the lyrics, but they were hearing. And these are people that are believing life ain't fair. And it was like they were applauding. They were putting their hands in the air. They were standing up and dancing. They were screaming. I mean, and by the way, I was too. But I mean, this affected people in a way that I haven't seen in other venues. Okay, this was like it was a magical, part of the moment. And then the people that had come to Whiskey Trucks, clearly they want like heavy guitar. They're shaking their heads when Derek is just like, moving through so quickly and so effortlessly. And the one, it's an anecdote, and I talk about feelings and what people say. So my 26-year-old and his friend, they'd certainly heard Tedeschi Trucks, and my son particularly knows that we've been listening to him, but they knew more about Whiskey Myers. So I was really curious to see, and they got tickets after us, so they weren't sitting with us. I was very curious to see when Tedeschi Trucks, I was like, what are they going to say? Their minds were absolutely blown. They were talking about Derek's technical, mechanical, quiet playing of this guitar, like the words, I've written some of them down, a collective calm, that he was calm, but like he was playing so quickly, yet he's still. So they got the message, but so did everybody else got this message. And we stayed through about 7 songs of Whiskey Myers. And about 3 songs into it, my husband and I went out to get a glass of wine, but like sat and told the kids, here, come sit in our seats, because this is the center. You wanted to come see Whiskey Myers. I giggled when they came out. Like, it's kind of, I'm old. My first concert, 1983, was Foreigner. I kind of felt like the stage started with this light show, and it kind of reminded me of like Journey, Foreigner, like kind of this, kind of this show. And when they came out, and hopefully they're not listening, the first thing that
go for it.
was oh oh my gosh, why am I losing the movie? Oh my gosh, this part 2 is coming out. I'm totally like losing the movie.
You thought of a movie when the band came out? You thought you were thinking of a movie? Is that what you're saying?
He goes, oh my gosh, I'm completely losing the name, and I made a note of it. I can't find it.
It'll come back.
Spinal Tap. Like I felt like I would like Spinal Tap came out because this is like they're very 70s, and it was very like transitional and like putting on the show. So I giggled and I'm listening, and they opened up with Gasoline, and my son had played Gasoline. I got a Nirvana vibe. I mean, this was live. This was like, and I'm okay with like hard rock. Then the next songs, I was kind of getting a Leonard Skinner kind of vibe of this. But and the crowd around me knew all the lyrics. They were super nice. They were having fun. But we moved the young men into our seats. After about 3 or 4 songs, they were texting us saying, "Hey, we're going to come out." My husband and I are like, "We're fine. We're having fun. Enjoy the show." And then a few minutes later, they walked out and they said, and we said, "We told you can stay. We're fine. Like, don't worry about us." They said, "We heard the 2 songs we wanted to hear, and after Tedeschi Trucks."
Wow.
Story.
That's the ultimate compliment.
Nobody was
come back to follow. We know that.
The one thing I was going to say, and I don't know if Denzel, if you did or not, I felt bad that missed opportunity. We weren't going to stick around for Whiskey Myers. We saw a little bit of him in LA, and again, no shade. But I realized after the fact, because you could see the Whiskey Myers fans there and the young kids in the gear.
Yes.
But I really wanted to ask them, what do you guys think? So that's so neat and I did not in Phoenix. So my bad, missed opportunity. But that's so neat to hear that, Leslie, and thank you, because it seems like that's part of what this whole tour has all been about, and the whole who's on first, what's on second, but it's working, and that's it. If it's bringing everybody into the music.
I just thought people can Bucks fans, and by the way, I'm not as fussed about this whole Cole headliner thing. I'm really not, and we're going to Saratoga, and we're going to see Government Mule, and we're huge Government Mule fans. So I'm super happy. I am not fussed a bit, because you know what? This could have turned into my new favorite band. I'm not disappointed about it. I'm disappointed that I don't get 2.5 to 3 hours. But I'm not I'm not saying this, it ruined it or whatever. We had a very unique audience, the New Mexico audience, incredibly polite, incredibly kind, and it was a beautiful thing together. There were no issues. I would have loved another hour and a half at Tedeschi Trucks, of course. But what if they turned out to be, someone I want to add to my, I don't.
Yeah, that was the same experience for me in LA, at least just from anecdotally speaking, that there was no conflict between the different fan bases. It might have been skewed a little bit more. It was like a balance between TTB fans, Whiskey Myers fans, and just people at a show, Hollywood or LA people, whatever, at a show. And I think that's a testament to TTB's fans, that the worst you can say is that some people are complaining online about the thing and just want more TTB music. And some people are confused by the lineup setup. I'm not bothered by people who are posting who's opening, who's not, because it's confusing and you want to be sure. Yeah. So even when I'm sitting there, what time's the show again? Wait, what time did they post yet?
I even realized the day of LA, because the whole thing, my whole mantra for this whole point with Phoenix, they're opening. It's like, well, it's still 90 minutes of TTB, and 90 minutes of TTB is 90 minutes of TTB. And I realized in LA, it's like, oh, wait a minute, even though they're closing, we're still going to get 90 minutes of TTB, and that's fine. I mean, but it's just.
That's why
they were on time, and we got a full head. It reminded me, we didn't go to the second night of TTB at Red Rocks because we've established I'm a Deadhead. We flew to San Francisco the next day to see Grateful Dead 60 in Golden Gate Park, and Sturgill Simpson opened up. He walked out on stage and said, "I've got 75 minutes, so let's go." And he went and did, and that's how Tedeschi Trucks was like, "We've got 90 minutes. We're going to fill the 90 minutes without any fooling around." And I really
they're still jamming, they're still doing solos and things like that, but it does feel like you're getting a little. You're not getting Passaquan in these sets.
No.
Well, that dreams, because it's like, wow, that's.
Oh yeah. Rolling out of dreams, but
I
yeah,
felt like these were all a little bit shorter. And what the young man that was with my son, he said, it's kind of jammy. And I kind of giggled because I thought during the show, I thought these were a little bit shorter than like some of the other, jams when it's like, at Red Rocks or they are the headliner where it's, it's a richer jam, but nothing was too short. I mean,
TTB are trying to experiment with embracing some more commercial elements. I think that's fair to say. We were talking, I forget who's brought it up in the first place, but it wasn't me. But I agree that even a song like Future Soul, the one of the new songs, it's under 4 minutes, and for a TTB song to be played under 4 minutes live, I think there's a certain commercial element that like I said, it sounds like it could be on a literal commercial, even though it has a very organic, great sound, Jimi Hendrix-y sound, whatever you want to call it, hard rock sound.
Right. Agreed. One thing I just throwing everything out there that's so wonderful, and we're all on the same page with that, and it's great. Just talking about Susan again. I mean, just two things with this, and realizing as all of us are aging a little bit more, one of the things about her voice, and I just feel like these couple of shows have really, because like you said, everybody's wonderful, and she's always had a great voice. I go back to I Am the Moon. There's a song, and I know they've done it. Oh my gosh, I suddenly I'm going to blank on it now. But one of the ballads that she does that I'm convinced could be a Broadway tune. I mean, it's just
Take me as I am.
Oh my God, that song is insane.
No, I'm just guessing.
No, absolutely, exactly.
Is that the song that you're thinking of, Steve?
Singing that, just that's the the Grammy, the Tony, or whatever. But I mean, she at the same point, and we talked about her taking care of herself. I mean, and she's done it a few times now with the little help from my friends, and I get the reason for that. But I'm like, take care of yourself, Mama, please, because I mean, she's just bringing it, and it's wailing and it's incredible. You know what I mean?
I think
so where I was going with that is I feel like there's kind of this Mama blues, Mama Bear the blues that she is just embracing and doing wonderful with.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. I don't know.
No, I thought last night, and again, I always think she's wonderful. I thought last night was special. I thought she it's effortless, calm, and it just had an ease about it. That was so beautiful. And I'm not saying she doesn't, it's not like she's not singing with an ease, but bigger venues and bigger, you show up to Red Rocks, every band that plays Red Rocks always ups their game. It's just like an automatic, right? But that puts a lot of pressure on performers too. And projecting, to that much larger of an audience. But I just thought last night she was really extra special. I thought Alecia was extra special last night. I thought Mike was extra special. Derek is always extra special. I mean, everybody, Eddie, Falcon and everybody. I mean, everybody was extra special. And
Gabe too, in the keyboard.
Well,
it was amazing.
Big crowd, it had to be really.
I really got The Devil Be Gone. Throw a shout out there because I think that's a new one that I think he had written. Is The Devil Be Gone?
Yes.
And I that one's grown on me. I really like that one too. So.
Yes,
awesome.
It's very groovy. It just makes you very happy and makes you. One of the things it did is, I don't know if you were in the front row, but if you're in the back, nobody stood up. We would stand to clap and everybody would say, and even I felt like in Made Up Mind, I felt she said something or her body language. She really wanted to uplift us and she was like, come on. And people did not stand up.
I got to be honest. Family's watching and they're going to laugh. I had major anxiety going into sitting in row two because I read all of this. And I haven't had the sitting situation where people ask me to sit, but I follow jam bands. I dance, and I dance. I stand up from the beginning.
Let your neighbors know. Hey,
At parts when it was quieter, but I'd look around me, and it's almost like it gave, again, some of the whiskey, it gave them like a support to like stand up. You know, it was like, this is okay. This is, you know, this is a part of it. Like, have fun, you know, and do this. And I'm not debating the sit stand thing, but like I was anxious, like going, you know, I hope nobody's asking. Thankfully, I'm only 5'4", but I'm thinking, I hope nobody's asking me to sit down, because there's some songs I can't sit down for. I mean, I physically can't. I just can't.
Like the slime medley. How could you sit through that?
I can't. But
I stood the entire show in LA, basically, pretty much. I was the last row of my section, which is helpful, which worked out very well. I would rather be arguing with someone in the first row of the. Nevertheless,
this made me think strategically. Next time I have to be more strategic. Either be at the last one, like I was near the soundboard, but I was on the aisle.
the aisle.
Like never again. It was terrible because people were getting up every minute to get drinks, and that was really distracting. I tried to just take one photo, and I couldn't, because every time I held my camera just for a snapshot, somebody walked by.
Whoa.
Where I was, it was like constant. Every song, people were getting up.
But
I didn't have that experience last year. I was closer. I was in like the 10th row or so, and I didn't have that experience. But the audience was quiet. It was just people getting up to go get drinks.
And you know, it's funny because, again, I don't want to trash it easy or anything, obviously, on that. But yeah, I mean, they were very quiet. You know, the heat. Well, we're used to the heat, so you know what I mean. That shouldn't be. But yeah, I mean, it did some kind of reserve, because I know I was like, you know, I mentioned 1999. You know, it's like, yeah, there was this one guy up there slow grooving dancing. Oh yeah, that was me. Because I'm like, great, you know, come on.
Were you in like the pit or?
Not quite the pit. Section 5 middle.
Was that you?
I think I saw you. No, it was there was one guy, and I was like, I wish I could be him. And maybe it was you, because it was only one guy, and like maybe the 5th row or so. And I was like, he's lucky he's dancing, because I think people who were the front, they were not blocking the view as much.
Right. Well,
because they were lower.
But I did scoot down to get a little closer for the build on midnight. So that was good. That worked. I had to sit, but I was, you know.
I think it was you. That's funny.
You can dance when you sit, right? We know that. So
see if I can find some video or something of this performance. I guess there's nothing on YouTube yet. 1999 at in Phoenix.
Yeah, like I said, I know that there are versions out there. In fact, we can link with the Beacon one. I guess is probably the best quality one. And just for whatever reason, it was like, I'm like, oh, okay, you know, yeah, I can get that. But once they started doing DMSR, really enjoyed that one a lot better, just because that's maybe a little closer to the original. But yeah, but 1999 live was like, wow, that was special.
I don't think either of them are close to the originals.
Really? Cool, that's true. But loved on that too, also the interplay. Loved the moments, again, back to the whole thing of how everybody gets involved. But, you know, especially when Derek and Elizabeth start doing their stuff, you know, love that. In fact, let me ask you this too. The other thought, so, and again, I'm going to mess up the name, so I don't want to mess him up. But the new trumpet player,
Emmanuel,
yeah.
I feel like he has like done just incredible. I mean, he stepped in Red Rocks and both Phoenix and LA. He was just like, wow. You know, he got his moments, and
he really brings his own sound, and Derek is really giving him a chance to shine and share his voice. And there's been some really incredible moments with him, like in some of them I've seen live, be it on Keep On Growing, or I know Shame. He's had some great soloing moments. He has a very tasty style of soloing specifically, and other than the soloing, obviously, you know, they just always seem to find people who fit seamlessly into the band and you know, listen, like we were it all kind of comes back to the listening aspect, which is special. And like you said,
you know, because without it, I mean, nobody's denying who the leaders are, but yet everybody else, like you said, they understand their role, And yes, they get their moments, and that's fine, and they make the most of them, obviously. But yeah, I mean, just even the fact that it may sound silly, and I know there are exceptions, but like for the most part, I mean, obviously, sometimes the horns will go off, sometimes the singers will go off, but for the most part, they're all there. They're all there for the duration of the set, and you know what I mean. It's like, okay, yeah, we know these guys are doing their drum solo, but maybe it's more trouble to go off for 2 minutes and then rush back on. But you know what I mean? The fact that they're all there, you do get that sense of, yeah, I'm watching.
Sharing.
Yeah,
There's a
exactly.
sharing. Yeah, there's a sharing element to it. Yeah, more than half the songs are all 12 on stage. Certainly, even if they're getting their individual moments. Certainly, Leslie, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, Emmanuel's solo I thought was fantastic. I just want to continue to send healing prayers to Ephraim. So,
Right.
Yes.
To get better. Absolutely. But it's a different sound. And it's always interesting to hear a different take. And of course, you have different musicians. Elizabeth didn't get a solo last night. I think there wasn't enough time. Kebbi got a solo. Walking over with the drums like he had done it at Red Rocks and played as well. But Elizabeth didn't get a solo, and Mark really didn't get a solo. But Mark was totally engaged and totally. So again, when you go to 90-minute, or that's what you're going to get. Like you're going to miss and I don't know how you even choose who you. I mean,
it's a hard thing, and I think that's something that's a little bit newer even with this tour, and that may be a little bit of a source of some frustration with fans, because not only less music but just less of the elements of getting every element. Because I always have said that, like, when I leave a TTB show, I personally have never felt like, oh, I wish I would have got more of insert thing. Oh, there wasn't enough Derek solos. How come Susan didn't sing so-and-so song? I wish they would have played that song. Or there wasn't enough of this section or person singing solo, whatever. I always feel like you're leaving with, getting enough of everyone. But maybe there is something left to be desired when, we're not getting a Gabe vocal. You're not getting an Elizabeth solo. That's kind of a little bit of that's kind of essential TTP to have a
encore
solo.
What's
that? I was waiting for the encore.
Encore, encore.
Oh, I was so disappointed. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? And then saw them setting up.
Yeah, they did the house. They made as a automated announcement, or someone announced something in LA just to like get the hell out of here. We have neighbors. Yeah. So many words outdoors.
Even though the set list was shorter, I felt like, I don't know if you think, Steve, but there's a theme, like in thinking again of the songs and replaying them, a few of them, there's almost like a theme to it, not like specific, but I feel like the one in Phoenix, it was like very spiritual, very gospel, did you feel that? I feel like the song that they picked, there was a theme in every song put together, even though they were different songs, like Bound for Glory, with Made Up Mind, with Devil Be Gone. It was sort of a theme going on. It's not.
There's a method to the madness. There's a method to the madness that's sort of open to interpretation, I feel like, and that resonates with us, but is also sort of, not a perfect science in a way. And it's also based on, what have they played recently? What have they played in this venue last time? And what do we feel like playing? What's new songs? There's so many elements that go into this, but you can see the emotional peaks and valleys of a song. This is an up-tempo song. This is our ballad. This gives us a feeling of togetherness. This is maybe, a darker feeling. They capture all the emotions, and even ones that I can't really describe, like the certain tones and feels, the feel of a song. You can see that method to the madness and like all their sets. And I'm still like, I'm complaining there wasn't enough and we didn't get enough of this or that. But like, I'm still in a way processing the show that I went to and listening to it over and over again. Lucky enough that there's audio and some media that's come out. And I'm still like really in my mind haven't left in some regard. Like I'm still a little bit like trapped in that moment. And it's one of, I don't know. Every show is special. The latest one, the current one, the next one is the best one. So it's hard for me to say which is the best one. But like this one and this last recent one in LA, it was just something about it just felt like a blur. I got there maybe because I didn't connect with really a lot of I connected with a couple of friends there, but I didn't say hello to the crew or whatever and hang out and wait for the band or come before the show. And I sometimes do that. And I sat far back. So it was just maybe this like blur, this moment in time. But it was the music is just so powerful and so special. And they're on fire and on top of their game. So it's like, I'm still like there in a way. It's hard to explain.
We're pretty lucky.
And that one thing I always like about the LA shows is you're usually guaranteed good quality video because basically everybody there is, a wannabe cinematographer. So, I mean,
no, there's something. No, there's something. I was going to say just because it's like a more popular or it's like a more populated. I'm just more likely to get footage from LA versus the Nevada show. The show where you had to take a train to a boat to a plane to a taxi to an Uber to get to it. There's just maybe less footage.
Yeah,
like we would have to dig up the set lists.
There are a few songs that came out of Phoenix.
What's that? Some video.
There are 3 or 4 videos, right, Steve?
Yeah, maybe I didn't understand it. What I was going to ask, Kenza, would you mind getting it? Because that set list, that copy of that set list, could you get that up there again? And I don't know if we can.
I sent it to Adam. Did you get it by any chance through Instagram?
Because I don't think
I can dig that up.
And you can
I
maybe
definitely know
repost it.
Yeah, if you could, because I know for sure the Made Up Mind is not on there. Set list.
Official.
Yeah. All right.
I just thought I'm gonna ask because I've seen, they always have the set list in the soundboard because I was really far from the stage. So, would you be able to repost it?
Yeah, let me grab it.
In your
there you go.
In your sorry.
Yeah, that was what I was just asking.
Yeah, let me see.
If you can, that'd be great. Thanks.
Oh yeah, and I think maybe Adam can reshare it on his Instagram.
Yeah, I'll send it to whoever.
I'm holding on to it like a prize. It's so.
No, well, hey.
This show happened.
Get a toy from
Phoenix.
I was like, oh, I got this.
So actually, not to dovetail too much, but Leslie, since you said you're at first night at Red Rocks. Oh, awesome! Yeah. Thanks. Okay, you got that. Yeah, let's see if I can get that again. Screen grab. Command shift. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Got it. Yeah, no, I was going to say, Leslie, so you got to see the.
Well, it was Jerry's birthday.
I'm sorry, no,
they opened with Franklin's Tower
and right, Franklin's Tower, and then did they didn't do that on the. Did the Dead and Company do that on the other show or no?
I think Franklin's Tower. I got to help slip Franklin on the Saturday or Sunday night that we're there. But one of my friends next to me at Red Rock, she said that's not one of Derek's guitars, and we were I think we were
catch that, yeah.
6, but we couldn't see until the pictures later.
Right.
And it was one of Jerry's guitars, and it had the bumper sticker on it that says, ass, grass, or gas. Nobody rides for free.
I didn't want to say that, but since you did, that's okay. Thank you. Yes. I'd heard that. But thank you for saying that.
To open with that, and it was Jerry's birthday on the 1st, so that was like a beautiful.
Yeah, that was incredible. Because when they came out and did that. And and even my wife knew that one. She's like, I'm like, oh my gosh! And so that was a pleasant surprise. And
I'm used to her doing Scarletonias, I'm like, so that and that was just, and to lead with that was, a beautiful nod, and to have him playing Jerry's guitar was amazing.
Travis Bean guitar.
Yeah.
EB 500 number 12, 1976.
I was exactly.
Okay. Guitar nerd. No, I'm just kidding.
Internet.
No, of course. I know everybody's all over that. You also mentioned Sturgill. For what that's worth, he actually did get a chance to see him on his own. And basically 3 hours and just nonstop. And it's like, hey, how you doing? And here we go. And and back in his set, he also does a snippet of Purple Rain. So bring that thing back.
He showed up 2 years ago, the same year that Derek and Susan played at Dead Ahead in Mexico. He was also on that
Oh, really?
That's the
Okay.
first time I saw him. This winter, he had a whole 3-hour set, and he
Right,
blew
right.
everybody's
Johnny,
minds away.
Johnny Dixon.
And so some of my girlfriends, we went and saw him in Denver at the Mission Ballroom in April.
Nice.
Amazing. And we're going back to see him at Red Rocks in September. I'm absolutely obsessed.
Oh.
And his 75 minutes before the second night, absolutely obsessed. But his Morning Dew that he came out and sang with Dead and Company,
Right.
I haven't felt that since I heard Jerry sing it. I mean, I'm not saying like Morning Dew, but like he brought this raw, gut-wrenching emotion that song deserves. But yeah, I'm completely obsessed with Sergio. Completely.
Cool. Actually, one of the we'll get back to TTB on this, and with Whiskey Myers, and they didn't do it at the LA show, obviously, but I think anyway, I know that Whiskey Myers closes with Going Down, and I guess Derek joined them for one of the shows. I think maybe in Tahoe. I think in Tahoe, he came out and joined them.
I had that.
For their encore. So, but yeah, I mean,
It's
and that's
smart.
great song.
It's smart to
for sure.
Derek and/or Susan join them. It's smart.
Oh, okay.
There's a video of Derek somewhere on YouTube playing Going Down with like Billy Gibbons. I think was it at? I think it was at a Freddie King tribute show. Maybe
that would make sense, right? Yeah,
on YouTube. There's like him doing like some kind of what do you call it with guests? A collab, a jam, whatever. It was cool.
The kids call it collab. Yeah.
Collab. Yeah. Have I not watched every single YouTube video that exists with Derek Trucks and/or Susan Tedeschi at this point? Have I not? Did I miss any? Did I miss any? I guess people are uploading new stuff, all the new stuff that could be old. You never know what people are unearthed. But I feel, there's a lot of good stuff. Thank you, Tapers, and thank you, YouTube.
Tapers, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cool. Anything else we should cover or talk about? I know we've been talking a while already, an hour and a quarter. I've taken up a lot of your time already.
Thank you. It was really nice to meet you guys and listen.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Likewise.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Will I see you in Saratoga? Is anybody going to Saratoga? Will I see any?
Okay, so you're. No, I don't think I'm sat in New York. Up in is that SPAC? SPAC. Yeah, I haven't been, and I don't think I'll make it this year. But I remember having conversations about TTB at SPAC, and SPAC being one of the like sort of underrated TTB venues, because I kind of know, just by talking to fans, I feel like I know which are the best venues to see TTB at, and then there's like the top 5, sort of quintessential bucket list: Beacon, Red Rocks, Ryman.
That's kind of where I am. I guess TTB played a couple of years ago. I don't think they've been back, but they played the Ryman.
Right.
And that would seem like, wow. Talk about a church.
Yeah, they haven't been back in a couple of years. But yeah, that's like essential.
I don't know if that's
a TTB. But there's a lot of venues out there that, like, if you guys come on and I talk to, the fans and pull up pictures and like, damn, that's awesome. And then the fans like, oh yeah, it sounded great and the views were great and the parking was easy and everyone was cool and people were nice to me. And I stood there's all these elements kind of come together, and like, so there's a lot of great venues. I give the band and their management, credit for we got to give some credit for that, of course, like choosing cool places to play. I like the Greek. I always have good experience generally at the Greek Theater. I think I haven't really, complained. I don't think I've had too many issues with that one.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, back 2022. Yeah, I saw. It was right. It was right.
Yeah, you are.
Anyway, it was TTB, and the next night was Goose. That was actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about Goose, to be honest, until TTB started played a couple of those the fundraiser and the tribute.
Right.
The Kennedy Center. They did a couple of things with them earlier this year, and I'm like, oh, these are. I was digging it. I'm down. He is a. What's the list? Do you know the singer of lead singer Goose? Lead vocalist. What was his name?
Rick Miranda. I always mess his name.
Yeah. He's a talented dude. Yeah, I like his very soulful.
Absolutely.
Great voice, yeah.
A
Doesn't
long
mess
runway
around.
for
Great tone.
guys, and they're they keep improving every time I see them, and so they've got plenty of time.
Yeah,
And just to throw that out to you too, I guess, and again, speaking of high quality video that's easily available, I think they just dropped another album, which is kind of unheard of. Goose, this is, and they were on the Tonight Show with Fallon on the 13th. So obviously it's only 4.5 minutes, but you can hear it's like, that's where you're going to take the song and make the left turn and go on for 15 minutes. But so it's like I said, 4 minutes. Speaking of time constraints, but yeah, they're definitely enjoyable.
Again,
Right
like
up there in
TTB
that,
is sort of just being a fan of
I think
TTB
so.
is opening you to new music, new bands, or old bands, or old
Absolutely.
that's like they open you up in both directions. Both with their influences
Absolutely.
and who they may influence too, like younger, even younger artists than them. But on that note, thank you so much, everyone. Leslie, Kansas, Steve, really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Adam.
Great connecting with
Adam,
all.
thank you.
We got three new peeps here. That's exciting. And I'm going to be
Absolutely.
I'll be bothering you, Leslie, about maybe SPAC. We'll get you on to
Sorry.
recap that one. We'll see if you're
My best friend Stacy and her husband John will be there with us, and she would be fabulous to have on here as well.
Yeah, bring them on. It's super casual. Like I almost forgot to mention. I was just gonna say, like, we could have jump around from show to show. We don't have to go into a strict chronological order, but yeah, because like everything's gonna remind us of our show and our experiences. So it's pretty loose, pretty casual. Great show.
And
Great show. I enjoyed
Phoenix
listening to
Good
you.
job,
in the
Adam.
summer.
Thanks for doing
The
this.
other 8 months, it's
It
fine.
helps us connect.
Thanks again.
Good stuff, guys.
Stay safe.
Okay, thank you.
Please
Bye.
like,
Take care.
subscribe, do all the things. Thank you, TTB crew, everyone. Later.